Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon. That's
How
a
you
nice
doing?
smiley face. It feels, yes, there've been some emails this morning about very challenging situations in golf clubs. And it's nice to see somebody who possibly doesn't have that level of challenge at the moment. So that's lovely, Linda. Nice to see you.
No, no,
Uh,
you don't deal with thefts of all the trophies, so I can't bring that one to your doorstep.
no, but we might have to deal with disciplinaries for employees who forgot to put the alarm on or turned off the alarm when it went off without checking why it went off. Had that before. And that's when they stole their trophies. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Fortunately, those don't apply to us, but they did steal all our trophies.
Oh, yes. I think it's worth having them all duplicated in, tin or something cheaper, isn't it? Plastic coated, and
Plastic.
then when they get it, and just keep the others in a safe because it's just to look pretty, and then you can have the expensive stuff where they can't get it. There you go.
It's too late for that.
Too late, yeah, exactly. Always easy afterwards to say
It's
what it should
gone.
be. Exactly. So what have we had today? This week we have a massively interesting, challenging, and frustrating situation at a golf club where the chairman is possibly a bully. All indications point towards that. Is doing Hitler salutes to the employees because he thinks that their black cycle helmet means that they're a Nazi. So he's just making a joke. It's just hilarious, isn't it, if he does the Hitler salute to her, even though her parents were Jewish? Not great. And what else is he saying? Saying to the clubhouse staff, if you want a job going forward, you're going to need to serve me and serve me first because I'm the chairman and I deserve to be. It's like, okay. And then to the greenkeepers that they don't need to listen to what the head greenkeeper says to them because he's a twat and he doesn't know what he's talking about. So they can do whatever they want. So having had all of that, we then right, that's potential disciplinary, potential exclusion. Let's suspend him because we can't guarantee what he's going to say. And he is a bully, and he bullied the board into reinstating him because he's going to send nasty WhatsApp messages, and he'll say nasty stuff about us to his friends, and he'll make snide comments. It's like, okay, but aren't you in charge? And it's just, and they're like, okay, so what do we do now? Now, luckily, the silver lining in this is that I have met somebody, Neil Ballard from Club Conduct Matters. I apologize, Neil, if I said that wrong. But what Neil does, he's an ex-policeman. He's a chairman of another golf club. He is setting up a business where he provides independent investigators for situations. So nobody in the golf club needs to be under pressure to do an investigation, but also independent people to sit on the disciplinary panel, if that is something you can have in your disciplinary process, so that no members of the golf club feel that they're being intimidated or that they're going to have a nightmare of a life after they've done their decision, even if they've done a fair and reasonable decision. So there is a way we can rescue this and deal with it appropriately, but it's not cheap. Once you start doing these things, so he was suspended, he's now been reinstated. I was off yesterday, so I'm now coming to it. The chairman was suspended and apparently resigned. And instead of us just accepting that, they rescinded the suspension. So now he's rescinded his resignation. I'm like, oh my God. There are some people who need a lot of help. And I'm happy to help, but I do wish we could use tasers with people like that, Chairman, because it's just, he's now come back in his email and he's lecturing us on the employment law grievance process. And we need to make sure that all of this is done. And when we've done that, he might consider talking to us. But until it's all been done, he's not going to talk to us. It's like, you can say whatever you want, mate, but we're going to do our process. Thank you so much for your input. But he's not used to that. Obviously, we're going to go back in a diplomatic, kind way, but also saying, get lost. Your opinion has no weight here. But it's fascinating how quickly the ones that are guilty, and this is a red flag every single time, the ones that are actually guilty and have no defense are the ones that go straight to process. We dismissed a chef last week for food hygiene. He'd left food in the fridge for 2 weeks. The tarragon had turned to liquid in the packaging. The salad was all out of date. The head chef was away on holiday. He came back, discovered all this out of date food. And the only thing the guy said, oh, well, I over ordered, so I used the fresh stuff before the old stuff. Yes, but you still have to get rid of the old stuff. You don't just leave it in the fridge. And you've obviously not looked in the fridge for two weeks. So he dismissed him. He was in this probationary period. He said, right, you're dismissed. We'll pay your notice, but you're out. Okay. And the guy came back and said, well, that's not a fair procedure, even if I am in the probationary period. And we went back and said, well, you were dismissed for these reasons, and you did have a chance in the meeting and in your last letter to say, you know, mitigating circumstances, whatever it is. And he comes back again and says, well, no, because I felt bullied in the first one. Did you? Because he'd found out what you'd done wrong. Okay, sure. And then you've still had 2 written possibilities to us to say, this is what happened. You must feel sorry for me. Please give me a second chance. No. All about the procedure. No apology. No, I will do it better. Oh, I'm so sorry. Nothing at all. And this is a chap who apparently, I've not met him, not spoken to him, but was described as really friendly, chatty, great guy to be with, really easy to work with. I'm like, yes, so that's the type of person who gets a second chance if you speak to him, because he's very convincing to people not like me and Nadia. Obviously, they wouldn't be convincing to us. We see through all of that. But they would go, oh, look, yeah, it was a misunderstanding. He didn't quite understand, blah, blah, blah. Let's give him a second chance. No, food hygiene for a chef, absolute hygiene factor. If you cannot get the fact that out-of-date food should be thrown away, that what's the point of you? What else have you not been doing that we can't see so clearly? So, but again, he was all about the procedure. A whole page, A4 page, about how unfairly it is that we followed the correct procedure and we should actually deviate from the correct procedure and give him more of a chance to put his case across. I'm like, well, give us your case. No, I need to do it in person. Yeah, no, it's not happening, mate. So go to ACAS if you're not happy. They will tell you you've got no case. So it's just lovely. But I'm just saying that is a red flag. If somebody starts moaning about procedure rather than their innocence, you know that there is some, they are guilty. Sorry, I know we're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, but there are some big red flags out there. Okay. Nadia, what would you?
So I want to chat to you guys about resignations. So it's very easy to just grab a resignation, accept it, and move on when you get it as an employer, especially if it's from someone who's a little bit of a problem for you. It's not always that simple. So if you get a resignation from someone, there are two situations in which we really want you to talk to us before you do anything. One is if that resignation comes with reasons that relate to their working relationships or situations. Things like I felt unsupported, I felt like I'm being pushed out, I've raised the stuff, nobody's done anything about it, I've said this before, these things. If they're leaving because they're unhappy and they're being, let's face it, most people who leave because they aren't happy where they are. But a lot of the time, that's just plain straightforward. They want something else in their lives and they move on and it's fine. It's when they're a little bit vocal about their reasons, we want to know about it. Half the time we'll tell you it's fine, it's not a problem. But we'd rather know than you assuming that just because they've resigned, you're in the clear. You're not. Resignations can lead to constructive dismissal claims. Like, it's still an unfair dismissal. Just because they've resigned doesn't mean they can't claim that. So talk to us. If there is a history and they're rehashing that history and those grievances and those complaints and bringing up lots of reasons, and then we want to know about it. And the other place we want to know about it is if the resignation comes during or immediately following some sort of heated situation. So that would be like, for example, let's say you're sitting this employee down, you're talking to them about their performance. It's a fairly serious conversation. You're having the conversation of, I've mentioned this to you before. We've talked about this once or twice. It's still a problem. Why does it continue to be a problem? We need to address this. And they go, you know what? I quit. I want to know. I want to know. Before you say a single word, I want to know. Because those kind of resignations are what we call heat of the moment resignations. Now, that doesn't mean we're always going to tell you not to accept it. We're just going to give you some strategic wording for this a lot of the time. But what you don't want to do is just accept that resignation there and then. Because, again, that isn't treated always like an actual resignation if it came to a claim. So if the resignation isn't one of those really simple ones of I hereby give my notice, blah, 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 signed by employee, two-liner resignation. If it's not that, rather ask and us say, you know what, it's fine, then accept it and not deal with it correctly. Because a lot of times you need to be dealing with those complicated, slightly more complicated resignations in a sort of grievance way, just to protect yourself. And a lot of times they struggle with that because they think that we're making extra work for them. But actually, when we're asking you to do or suggesting that you do that grievance process, it's actually for your own protection. That process isn't for the employee. It's for you. It's so that you can defend something one day and say, no, they brought this to our attention. We dealt with it according to our processes and gave an outcome. That is protection for you. You always have protection in process as an employer, which is interesting because our clients often try their best to have to not do a process because they feel like processes are mean to employees and work for them. But actually, a process protects you as an employer. That's why we make you do them. So, yeah, please talk to us if you get weird resignations.
Yes, weird resignations. Yes. Sorry, and the other thing with resignations is, like Nadia said, is to tell us straight away, because then we can make sure that if it is okay to accept it, that we can go straight ahead with it before anything happens. And the other thing is that if it is a genuine, if it is a valid resignation, so they've thought about it, they've given the notice in writing, you can accept it. If they decide then a week later, actually, I'd like to take back. Thank you. Yes, withdraw my resignation. You don't have to accept it. So a resignation is unilateral. The employee can resign. They do not need your approval or acceptance to resign. Okay. So when we send out a resignation acceptance, what it really is we acknowledge that you have resigned. We can't stop you from resigning. So we've taken that. But to be reinstated, it has to be both sides agreeing. It's not a unilateral thing. And legally, the default is that you do not have to accept that reinstatement. You can, as the employer, legally, without fear of repercussion, say, no, that won't work for us because they've resigned the correct way, you've acknowledged it, and then they say, oh, actually, I can't find another job quite as quickly as I thought. Can I come back? No, because that's never going to work. You don't want to stay with us. What's your motivation to do a good job? I mean, this is the thing. So it's So just know that if they do come back, we had one who actually gave 3 months notice, and after 2 months came back and said, actually, yeah, I can't find another job. Can I come back? It's like, no, really sorry, but no, that doesn't work for us. And that is fine. They can't sue you for that or anything, as long as you've done the right thing at the beginning when they gave in their notice. Okay. Good. So has anybody got any questions today? Dawn?
Yeah, funny you talking about reservations. Resignations. I've just had a bit of a situation, and it's been badly managed, of course, with a kitchen assistant and a head chef. And the kitchen assistant, a lady, hasn't worked since July last year, and she should have been taken off the books.
Yes.
It should have been discussed, etc. It wasn't. And I've been picking up on it, going, what is she still doing on the books? Is she leaving? She's not doing any work. And then it transpired she's still questioning about 3.5 hours. And then she throws in a fit note for 6 months, and she's got breast cancer.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. However, because she hasn't worked for that amount of time, she's not entitled to any SSP. She's a casual, So I'm giving her the SSP1 form to obviously make that claim.
Yeah, it's not about the casual. It's about how much she's actually earned.
Yeah.
So it's because if she's earned over the lower earnings level.
Yeah, I've sent it to payroll, and they've checked it to say she's not entitled to it. However, obviously now I'm going to have to keep her on the books, aren't I, until that runs out, and whether she does return or whether then she does resign.
Yeah.
So while she's keeping length of service, there's no other benefits that she's accruing, is there?
I have a question.
Holiday.
Well,
sorry. Yeah,
I have a question.
Okay.
That sick note is that 6 months from now, or is that backdating 6 months? Because if it's backdating 6 months, their calculations cannot take the time.
No, it's from the 29th of January, so a few weeks ago. Yeah.
Okay.
But I didn't know about it until last week. So she didn't give it to me at the time. She's been giving it to me because I think the head chef's been going, are you resigning because you're not doing any work?
Okay, which is also not good.
No, exactly. And that, I think, is a department thing that department managers do for casual workers, isn't it? They're not giving me availability. Okay. So then they tell payroll or go, just take them off because they're not doing any hours, rather than hang on.
Yeah.
No. You can't just say take them off. I need something in writing to say I don't want to work for you any longer. But that is something historically which they default to, which I've got to beat them up about.
Yes. But I mean, silver lining, if they're doing it and they're not getting a lot of claims, I'm not saying you should do it, but it's not as bad as it could be. Otherwise, it would have stopped.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, even, the seasonal workers that come for Christmas, and then really I know that the managers are saying, oh, take them off, they come back for Christmas, but again, best practice should have something in writing to say that's what I'd like to do, isn't it, really?
No, if they are under 2 years, you can just issue them with the P45. I'm going to say the seasonal workers are even easier. I would just say, thank you so much for helping during the summer, look forward to seeing you at Christmas time, here's your P45, because most of them don't mind.
No.
And ditto for Christmas, and then sorry, Nadia.
No, I was sorry, I talked over you. Especially if that was always indicated beforehand, to say you are a seasonal worker, we'll have you for Christmas period, then we have you for summer, then we have you for Christmas. Then, if that is the arrangement, even better if it's the actual arrangement in the contract. But if that is the arrangement, then those conversations are easier. But we still recommend the taking on and taking off and putting back on, definitely.
Yeah.
You can also put them on a fixed term contract for the time that they're back at Christmas.
Yeah. Our system is not very good with fixed term.
It is more time consuming, but at least they've got an end date, and you know that they're going to come off. P45 is going to be raised, and then you start them again, write them a new contract. It is a bit of a pain, but it does mean that they're off completely, and you're not having to have a difficult conversation with them. On the note of your lady with cancer, I've got Nadia, you can help on this. Could you fill in our SSP1 form?
Yes, that's what I've sent to her. Yeah.
The P1 form, yeah, not the SSP form. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's what I've sent to her.
So I missed that one.
Yeah. But I'm just going to have to keep her on for 6 months, obviously, until the end of that, whether she comes back or not. But yeah, just highlights those staff being on there and not doing any work.
What was she off sick for before? Did she have fitness, or was she just not turning up?
She was doing training apparently, and she's saying, "Oh no, I said to the chef I could do 2 to 3 shifts a week." Well, he sent me screenshots of text messages between them where he's chasing her every week. Have you got availability? No. I can do 1 shift. So I know that that's not true. So I've checked her on that to say, that's not quite, I know that you've got limited availability, but by the by, I'm not going to argue about 3.5 hours and 2 days pay it. It's not worth, worrying about. And, wish you well. And here's the SSP1 form, and I'll check in on you in a few months' time type of thing. I think that's all I can do.
It's always interesting because I'm not doubting the genuineness, but it just seems a strange coincidence that this fit note has come now and for so long. Because we've had cancer before, and it's usually for 2 months, maybe that.
Yeah. And it did transpire a week before she tried to get into our spa facility with her boyfriend to use the spa facility. And when she was told, well, no, because there's a process, apparently she got a bit rude with the staff, which again is not a good thing. But
which should have been a disciplinary. Has anybody else got any questions today? Chris?
Yes, I've got a question just about annualised working. So we have an extra quiet period, and it's almost, should we be looking at annualised hours or trying to make it work better? Because we've got people standing around this time of year doing nothing. We can do more hours clearly in the summer for some of them. Some can't because it's due to children they have, and they have to collect from nursery and things like that. So I appreciate that some can't, but some could. And it's understanding how we might go about this process. Is it an easy process? Is it something we have to discuss, or is it something we can just...
You've absolutely got to consult because you're changing their hours of work and quite dramatically to go from, 20 hours a week to 2,000 hours a year. That's a very different process. And they don't have to agree. That's the thing. So, so how, for example, how would you do it in the Greens team? I mean, are the Greens on annual?
The Greens have asked before, and they didn't go through with it in the end. But the course manager said, "How about if we work an hour less each day in the winter and work an hour more in the summer?"
Yeah.
And I kind of left it with him to say, certainly a possibility if everybody's happy to do it. And I kind of left it like that. He never came back. I'm more concerned about the clubhouse staff this time of year, where we seem to be trying to fit people in and it's too quiet and people just standing around. They work varying hours from 12 hours to 24 hours on their contracts.
Yeah.
Some will work more than that in the summertime, clearly, but that's the basic. And it's just, even this time of year when we're trying to fit everybody into 12 hours, 24 hours, there's just times when we're overlapping people just to fit them in.
Okay, so I'm going to say we probably need to look a little bit more bigger picture rather than annualised hours, because the law on fire and rehire, so restructuring, is changing from October, I think it is actually, not January. I was got caught up with January, but October. So from October, you are going to have to do a lot of justification of the process. It sounds to me like you've actually got too many people with guaranteed hours for what you need. So again, this is what a good F&B manager would be doing. But bearing in mind, just for the video, Chris is not the F&B manager. I'm not saying that he's not a good F&B manager. I'm just saying if you have a great F&B manager, they would be going, actually, we've got too much capacity. We could do 0 hours. We could get more people onto 12-hour contracts and pay them extra. It might be worth looking at what do we actually need at this time of year. Was it the same last year? Was it the same the year before? I know this is a hindsight thing a little bit, but it's actually would it be a good idea now, before the season starts, to do a restructuring, to part company with those where it is more, and then we've got more 0 hours or capacity to upgrade from 12 hours? If everybody was on 12 hours a week, would that work? Or, like I said, put them onto annualized hours. Either way, you're going to have to do a restructuring process, and that would be, that's a 3-week consultation process. And then if people don't apply for the new jobs with the new hours, they would be made redundant. But like I say, it would be better to do that before the beginning of October, because you are going to have written justifications, and people will be able to sue you if they don't think it's a fair enough justification. So it's like we're rapidly running out of time with the season approaching, to like, actually, what do we want to do going forward? Because it's going to get more difficult. So could have a chat about that maybe separately. Yeah,
thank you.
Okay. Carolyne, do you have any questions?
No, I'm all good, thanks.
Good. I'm going to say that looks like a very tidy office, but I think we need to put more pictures up on the wall behind you. I'm just saying.
There's pictures of that side.
Yes. Brilliant. Okay. Well, next week we are going to do, I did say what we were going to do. I think we're doing SSP. Yes. And unfair dismissal. Sorry. Because of the unfair dismissal rules coming in. So we're going to go through those as much as we can now. We're still waiting for the small print on stuff, just like we did in furlough, that we've got the big picture, and then it's like, yeah, but how can we deal with this? But the thing is, it's coming in on the 1st of January. 1st of January, unfair dismissal changes. Okay. And it applies to all staff who are employed at that point, no matter when they started. So if you've got anybody under 2 years as of the 1st of January, but they're over 6 months, they automatically become yours. They are automatically protected if they have more than 6 months service. So what we're going to go through next week is what you need to put in place now, start doing now, to make sure you are not having to do disciplinaries, restructuring, settlement agreements with staff after the 1st of January. I mean, you still will, but let's try and sort it out a little bit before then. But we're going to go through that in more detail next week. Okay.
Carolyne, just a quick...
Sorry.
Could I just ask a very quick question?
Yes, sorry, Linda.
Sorry, it's okay. Tipping policy.
That's just as much fun as annualised hours.
Yeah.
Excellent. Good.
You guys are coming up with all the fun stuff today.
Yeah.
Just very briefly, thank you for the note about that, because we don't have a written one. What we have, I suppose what my question is, what we have tips that go through the till, and they're identified to individuals, and that's how we pay the tips. What they're identified.
Via payroll, then it goes via payroll. It goes via payroll.
It goes via payroll. That's right.
Fine.
I would say that there probably is behind the scenes, when they have lunches, that there are cash tips given, and they probably don't materialise anywhere. But we're going to
pretend we didn't hear that.
No, I know. But I'm always straight with you. But reading the tip policy, am I right in thinking that you have to actually put all the tips earned at any stage in? Or is it just if you've got people working together that they have to share the tips?
No, you can do whatever you want. You don't have to share tips at all. You can do like you're doing now. And I think there's probably more to it than you said, to be honest. Is that if somebody says, I want to give you a tip, and that gets put through the till, through payroll, that's absolutely fine. It has to be paid out by the end of the next calendar month. Sounds like that would happen in that case. That's no problem. And that has to be in writing, that if you're given a tip, it's yours. That's the end of it.
Right.
Okay. What about societies or members that do gratuities? Do you have a Christmas fund? Do you pay it out at the end of the year? Do you gather anything up?
No, we don't gather anything up. We just pay a gratuity, the same gratuity to everyone. So... No. Gratuity. When do you pay the gratuity? Well, I beg your pardon. Let me rephrase that. It's not a gratuity. It's like a Christmas bonus.
It's like a Christmas bonus. Okay. So where does the money come from for the Christmas bonus? Is that from the club or is it from the members?
The club.
So it's just sort of you've done everybody's done a great job. Here's £100, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And the members don't pay anything with their subs. It goes towards that.
No.
So that is purely club. It comes out of club money. It's not money that's been that the members have sent.
That's right. No, it's not. It's just club money. But that's once a year. But as a norm, members will give bar staff a tip, and that tip goes through the till. That's the process for it.
Yes, and so you just write that down in writing. Right. I'm going to say it doesn't sound very fair, but if that's the process, that's a process. That's fine. And if the employees, when they read it, go, wait a minute, that's not fair, they will raise a grievance, and then we can deal with that, because it feels unfair that somebody who is serving, as opposed to somebody who's rushing around delivering stuff, doesn't get the tip, but the person who's actually on the till gets the tip. That doesn't seem fair, but that's a whole different thing as to whether it's fair. At the moment, all you're doing is writing the tip policy to reflect what is actually happening, so that we can put it in your handbook, and issue it out. And then if somebody raises a complaint, then we can deal with that. That's not a problem. And if they don't, they don't. Great.
That sounds fine then. So basically, we don't need to change what we're doing. We just need to log it. We need to write it.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
That's fine. We can deal with that.
Lovely. Good. Chris, you had one last question.
Yeah, it was only just about the SSP, because I think I'm sure most people may get the HMRC help and support emails. I'm just looking at the next webinar for SSP, and it's not till April the 22nd. So you might be ahead of the game next week, because it's after the 1st of April, and we need to know what's going on, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Gosh, yes, we'll probably add that in. It's like, we are ahead of HMRC on this. Yeah. There you go. Thank you. Brilliant. Well, everybody have a lovely weekend, and we'll see you here next Thursday. Take care. Bye.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Thanks for watching. If you want a free peace of mind call with us to discuss your policies, handbook, and any burning staff issues in your business, click the link in the description below.